I'm Kenneth Wurdack. I'm a curator in the Department of Botany. And as you might expect, I work on flowering plants. And in particular, I focus on the family Euphorbiaceae, which is best known for cassava, castor bean, tung oil, as well as poinsettias. In this particular talk, I'm going to focus just within Euphorbia, which has an exceptional array of diversity. So these are all species of Euphorbia. You can see all sorts of strange spiny succulents, a poinsettia that has leaves. You can see cactus-like things and pencil plants. And the question is, how has this diversity of plant form evolved? These are all adaptations to environments. You can imagine that succulent plants are adapted to desert environments. So how do we know that all these things that have very different plant forms are related? They all share a particular floral structure where a group of flowers is all aggregated together to mimic a single blossom. So we know they're all related, but we want to know the details of how the species are related to each other. And this research has been led by my postdoctoral fellow, James Horn, with support from NSF on a Euphorbia PBI grant. So how do we go about addressing how things are related? Well, in the modern world, we compare DNA sequences. In the background there, you can see a data set that went into understanding how Euphorbia are related to each other. So from that, we create phylogenies, that term which you'll hear more about later in other talks, no doubt. These are evolutionary trees that organize biodiversity. And in particular, some of the more interesting questions we can ask are not only how species are related, but we can understand how they originated and where they originated, and how characters have changed. So here we have a Euphorbia phylogeny, and on it in black is mapped xeromorphic features. These are features that are evolved for desert adaptations. And you can see that they're not all clumped together. And this suggests that the succulent growth forms that are prominent in desert Euphorbias have evolved more than once. And indeed, it appears that they've evolved 14 times, which is unexpected. You would sort of expect to group all the succulents together if you sort of looked at them based on their form. And we can also use these trees to date when this happened. And indeed, these succulents appear to have risen between 20 and 5 million years ago in the Miocene. So we can then layer onto carbon isotope signatures. And you can see a rough correspondence between the greens and the yellows and the blacks. So what does this actually mean? So if we go to basic biology, remembering back to maybe high school days, photosynthesis converts the energy in sunlight into fixed carbon, which is sugar. And Euphorbia does several different flavors of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis biology is messy, and photosynthesis comes in different forms that you may not have heard of. These forms have different efficiencies for different environments, so they are adaptive. For instance, C4 photosynthesis is common in high light situations such as grasslands. And CAM photosynthesis occurs in succulents because it allows water to be conserved. So if we put this all together, we understand that was drying of during the Miocene in the past 20 million years, and this caused an acceleration of diversification, increase in speciation, and these bursts in speciations allowed succulents to evolve multiple times. And if we look at other groups of plants such as cacti and ice plants, we can see that the succulent growth form and the CAM photosynthesis associated with it has also evolved in those plants. And so all these succulents are adaptive for particular environments. Thank you. Any questions? One question? Lynn.
Have you gone back to look to see if any of the morphology in your plants agrees with the molecular phylogeny?
The question is, have we gone back and looked at the morphology and does it agree with the molecules? Certainly, the succulents, if you look at the details of the succulents, many of them have subtle differences. So on the surface, yes, these are all sort of fat chunky things that have water storage. But if you look at the details, how they do that is different in some cases. So there is some degree of morphological difference in regard to the succulents. The different types of photosynthesis, C3, C4, and CAM, also have different morphological features that have to do with the anatomy also. So there is a rough correspondence between those aspects.